Hello, can you hear us? Hello. Hi, can you hear
Muhammad Farid
us?
from Royal Military College, while the timekeepers Nur Hanis Natrah binti Amaluddin and Nur Ibina Sofia binti Sulaiman are from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tuanku Syed Putra Perlis. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-team assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will be rung once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A Q&A session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I would like to invite the first team, CAÐALOŞLU Anatolian High School from Turkey, to present.
Hi, good morning from CAÐALOŞLU, Turkey. We wish everyone good luck, and we want to thank all of the people that has contributed in order to make this conference come true. And we would like to start now. Thank you for joining us today to discuss a critical issue that affects the health and future of our youth, tobacco and drug control among teenagers. Teenagers are at a stage in life where they are curious and often tend to try new things, including tobacco and drugs. The choices teenagers make during these formative years can have long-lasting impacts on their health and well-being. Sadly, one of the most dangerous choices they can make is to use tobacco and drugs. Those can lead to diseases, addiction, and even death. The earlier teen starts, the greater the risks of serious health problems later in life. And the consequences of tobacco and drug use are severe and far-reaching. Health-wise, tobacco use is linked to respiratory diseases, cardiovascular issues, and various forms of cancer. Drug use can impair brain development, lead to mental health disorders, or increase the risks of addiction and overdose. Beyond the direct health impacts, tobacco and drug use impose significant economic burdens due to healthcare costs and loss productivity. Let's continue by acknowledging the scope of the issue. Despite decades of public health efforts, tobacco and drug use among teenagers remains a pressing problem. Teenagers' brains are still growing, making them more likely to get addicted and suffer long-term brain problems. Smoking or vaping can cause lung issues and lead to diseases later in life. Drug use can cause accidents and lead to mental health problems like anxiety and depression. Starting these habits young makes it more likely and they will continue into adulthood. And in this slide, as you can see, there are in total three, but two different types of graphics that were from 2011 data. In order to explain the situation better and more effectively, the reasons why we use those graphics are the visual information, memorability, and for better sight for those who use up efforts to understand our topic. At the left of the page, there is a pie chart, and when we look at the percentages, the chart shows that the number of female students who contributed to the questionnaire is almost twice the number of female students. And The higher response rate in women can be related to their higher agreeableness and to persuasion and suggestion. And above the first. Yes, thank you. Above the first mentioned chart, there is a chart with light and dark blue, which shows the age percentage. And what we can understand from this chart is that the reason why 15 and 16 years old part of society more likely to consume tobacco and other kinds of harmful stuff. Sometimes it's because they believe it's a shortcut to relieve negative emotions like feeling anxious, depressed, or upset or bored. Or sometimes it's just a feeling that they want to catch up with their peers. And finally, the last graphic is a bar graphic whose topic is the frequency of tobacco and drug use. The bar provides the information that contains tobacco use is greater than drug use because of its easy accessibility, and people did not use both regularly. And moreover, the tobacco and drug industries have historically targeted young people with advertising campaigns designed to make their products appear glamorous and rebellious. This can be quite interesting for teenagers who want to try something new. This targeting often includes using popular social media platforms, flashy packaging, and celebrity confirmations to attract young users. By making their products seem desirable, these industries aim to hook young people early, increasing the chances that they will become regular users.
Hello everyone, I'm Yağmur Alcı from Anatolian High School. Thank you so much, Ezgi. I will take it from here. In recent years, the rise of new products like e-cigarettes and flavored vape liquids has created new avenues for these addictions. Unfortunately, these substances can have serious and long-lasting effects on their health and well-being. These products contain nicotine, a highly addictive substance that can quickly lead to dependence. The appealing flavors such as fruits and candy make vaping more attractive to teenagers, can encourage frequent use. Once addicted, users may find it hard to quit, leading to potential long-term health issues like lung damage and heart diseases. This addiction is concerning because it not only affects physical health, but can also impact mental well-being and academic performance. As a result, there is a need to increasing awareness and stronger regulations to prevent young people from being addicted on these products. So, what can we do to help prevent our teenagers from using tobacco and drugs? Firstly, education is the key. Education about tobacco, drugs, and education about tobacco and drugs is essential in helping young people understand the risks and consequences associated with their use. By providing accurate information and raising awareness about the health dangers, schools and parents can empower teenagers to make informed decisions. Support from families and communities is also essential. Communities can offer safe, fun, and drug-free activities for teenagers to participate in. And parents should help them develop those activities and talk to their children about the risks. Because when young people understand the risks, they are more likely to choose health choices. Strong laws and regulations can help keep these harmful products out of the hands of teenagers too. This includes enforcing age limits on purchase of tobacco and drug products, banning flavored tobacco products that appeal to young people, and regulating advertising to prevent it from targeting teenagers. Strict penalties to retailers for products labeling can also play an important role. Last but not least, for those teenagers who are already using tobacco and drugs, access to support and treatment is very important. Rehab programs can help them quit and stay healthy. In conclusion, preventing tobacco and drug use among teenagers is a shared responsibility. By educating our young people, supporting them in making healthy choices, enforcing strong laws and providing help to those in need, we can make a big difference. Let's work together to create a healthier future for our teenagers. Thank you all for your attention.
Yes. Now, I would like to invite the audience to ask questions. You are only allowed to ask 2 questions. If there are no questions from the audience, I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Okay, hi. Okay, greeting to all. Okay, congratulations for your presentation. Okay, I would like to refer to the abstract given. We refer to the research written in the abstract conducted in 2011. Is it correct? I need
Of
the
course, it's
confirmation.
correct. It's from 2011.
Again?
Of course, it's correct. It's from 2011.
2011. All right. Okay. Okay, it's okay. So my question is, okay, how can you relate your research to the climate emergency? Okay, for this team. Yeah, the main team. Can you relate your research to the climate emergency? Okay.
Could you please explain your situation a little bit more?
Okay, if you refer to our research, okay, the main theme is climate emergency. So how can you relate your research to this theme, climate emergency?
Let me think. I think that it has nothing to do with the climate. Our topic was drug and tobacco use on teenagers, and because of that, we funded research that concerns the use on teenagers, especially on the 15 and 16 years old people.
Okay. You confirmed to us just now that your research was conducted in 2011. Okay. May I know who conducted the research? Because 2011 is more than 10 years ago. Did you adapt another research, or did you do an analysis of a research that was done before this?
May I add something?
Sorry?
May I say something about the first question you asked?
Okay, all right. You just now you reconfirmed to the chief judge that this research was done in 2011, yes?
Of course.
Okay, and may I know who conducted the research? Because when doing research, right, research that was done 10 years, if you are referring to this research as your literature review, then it is a bit outdated. However, if you're using this for like a document that you analyze, we would like to know who did this research. Because this research was done more than about 13 years ago.
The survey conducted a school like just us, CAÐALOİ, in Ireland. And if the conclusion of the survey wasn't true now and didn't affect now and our future, it would be outdated, but it's still used by teenagers, and tobacco still popular among teenagers. So we see those conclusion and results still, so it's not outdated.
It's not your paper. Okay, it's okay. But you read the paper and you did an analysis of the findings in that research, correct? Yes?
No, we didn't. Like, we are discussing about who will answer the
Yeah,
question.
Okay,
Because,
thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, continue.
So about your first question, you asked about the climate, right? The effects on climate.
Yes, because the main theme of the symposium is supposed to be climate crisis, a race you can win. So it's
see,
like
I
how you, through this sub-theme that you have chosen, how do you address the climate crisis?
I can say about climate. Tobacco can be harmful to the environment when burned, and cigarette waste can also pollute the environment. You know, when you burn them and throw them, it can pollute the environment.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. Now, I would like to invite the second team, St.MARK's Public Secondary School from India, to present. Belum ya?
Is our screen visible, sir?
Now, I would like to invite the second team, St. Mark's Public Secondary School from India to present.
May we start, sir? Sir, may we start?
Good morning, everyone. I am Manya Jain.
I am Prisha Mehta.
I am Riddhi Sada. We are from St. Mark Senior Secondary Public School, Mirabagh, New Delhi, India.
Soulful serenity is a state of profound peace and tranquility that can be achieved by embracing a healthy lifestyle and a mindful approach to life. This concept aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3, which aims to ensure healthy lives and promote well being for all at all ages. It emphasizes on the importance of creating health systems that are responsive to the needs of an aging population and awareness on mental health, thereby ensuring no one is left behind. By prioritizing mental health and well-being of both elderly and youth, we should also build a more healthier, more inclusive society for everyone.
To understand the subject matter in detail, our team conducted a survey and various interviews with experts in science and in the field of medicine. We analyzed the responses filled in by the respondents, which majorly included doctors between the age group of 30 to 60 years. We got to understand their viewpoints on various aspects such as mental health, health facilities in rural areas and during wartime, and about the indulgence of the common man in self medication. The same was followed by an in depth discussion with TGT Science Ms. Aarti Sapra and Dr. Ramesh Datta, a pediatrician who has been practicing for more than 50 years. We would like to have Ms. Aarti Sapra's views first.
According to you, what are some of the common mental health issues faced by elderly individuals?
Okay, if we have number of issues related to them, like I should say the very first is depression, and yes, and depression, anxiety disorders, and their lifestyle is affected because after COVID, if we just talk about their lifestyle, we are more into our devices, doing online courses, or we have some meetings. Like all the people at home, they have some or other work, and elders they feel secluded, that we are not included in the activities. That leads to depression, and moreover, not just depression. You can we can talk about dementia, we can talk about loss of memory, Alzheimer. These are very common problems which are faced by elder person. Like, and these are the problems which troublesome, and you know what? It's very difficult to come out of this kind of disorder till the time all the people they are not together. They will not give attention to the elders at home also. They will suffer from the same problem.
The elderly population, typically defined as individuals aged 65 and older, face unique mental health challenges. These issues are often compounded by physical health problems, social isolation, and changes in life circumstances such as retirement or loss of loved ones. Interventions include psychotherapy and medications to address specific symptoms. Social support and engagement in community activities also play a crucial role. For example, Mrs. Z benefited from joining a support group for widows, which helped alleviate her depression. Addressing mental health issues in the elderly requires a multifaceted approach, combining medical, psychological, and social strategies to improve their quality of life and overall well being. Early detection and treatment are crucial in managing these conditions effectively. Now, we would like to move on to Dr. Ramesh Datta's thoughts on people living in rural
What do you
areas.
feel are the most significant problems that people face in rural areas with respect to healthcare facilities?
Yes, that is very important. Like our country, it is a very vast country, and 70% of our population they stay in the rural areas. They lack healthcare facilities. Government have started primary health centers there, but they lack staff, doctors, and medicines also. And they are not well connected with the roads and other modes of transport. So the people staying in rural areas, they really suffer when they need medication and healthcare facilities.
What do you feel are the most significant problems that
Yes, that is very important. Like our country, it is a very vast country, and 70% of our population they stay in the rural areas. They lack healthcare facilities. Government have started primary health centers there, but they lack staff, doctors, and medicines also. And they are not well connected with the roads and other modes of transport. So the people staying in rural areas, they really suffer when they need medication and
Palghar,
healthcare.
a district in Maharashtra in India, faces several healthcare challenges, many of which are reflective of broader issues found in rural and underdeveloped regions. There is a scarcity of hospitals and primary healthcare centers. Existing facilities often lack adequate infrastructure and are ill-equipped to handle the local population's healthcare needs. Many villages in Palghar are isolated with inadequate transportation infrastructure, making it difficult for residents to access healthcare facilities, especially during emergencies.
Moving on to our survey results, it has been observed that people do not usually choose therapists as their go to persons in times of stress. Talking about our next aspect, it has been suggested by most that family support needs to be strengthened in order to cater to healthcare needs of the elderly. During war times, a major problem that people face in maintaining their physical health is the exposure to violence and unsafe living conditions.
The blockade in Yemen has severely restricted the imports of medical supplies, equipments, and medicines. This has led to critical shortages from basic infections to chronic diseases. The blockade has also limited fuel supplies, which are essential for operating hospitals, running ambulances, and maintaining the cold chain for vaccines. Airstrikes and ground fighting have damaged or destroyed many healthcare facilities, reducing the availability of air. Many healthcare professionals have fled the country or have been displaced internally, leading to significant shortage of qualified medical personnel. Now, when we talk about self-medication, incorrect dosages may have adverse effects on the health of people.
This case study showed how during COVID 19, patients avoid getting checked up and mistook COVID for normal cold and cough. This increased people's indulgence in self medication, which rather than providing relief, aggravated the problem and showed major side effects.
As we move on to the solutions, government interventions in terms of providing incentives to professionals working.
I see 50% of the people who are being self-medicated, they come with so many, side effects.
Am I audible?
Who are being self-medicated, they medication, all problems because of self.
Am I audible?
As we move on to the solutions, government intervention in terms of providing incentive to professionals working in rural areas. Mobile clinic and health education program should be started to ensure healthcare facilities reach remote areas. Age-friendly communities should be set up and house checkups should be provided to limit transportation elderly. In order to help the conflicted areas, financial investment must be granted towards
All
border
problems.
organizations.
Based on the above discussion, it can be concluded that Sustainable Development Goals is specifically intended for ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being at all ages. SDG 3 is the core infrastructure driving development, which focuses on reducing maternal and child mortality, killing diseases once and for all, as well as providing universal health care. This goal can only be accomplished through a collaborative global approach between governments, agencies, and citizens from around the world to eradicate health inequalities and support sustainable healthcare infrastructures. Together, we can build a healthier future for all. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite the audience to ask questions. The maximum of questions is 2. If there are no questions, I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Oh, hi everyone. Okay, I have one question here. When you presented just now, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear my
Yes,
voice?
you are audible.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am,
good.
you are audible.
Okay, based on your presentation just now, I could see in your slides, one of your slides, you mentioned about Yaman. Okay, are you conducting research on that country, Yaman, or are you conducting research on about your own country, India? Because I was a bit confused
Yes,
just now.
ma'am, they are.
Okay, so you can answer my question. Yeah.
The research was based on our country. However, we took a case study on the blockade in Yemen because we included
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for the informative presentation. Next, I would like to invite BEŞİKTAŞ SAKIP SABANCI ANATOLIAN High School to present.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And hello, dear juries and friends from Malaysia. I am Şevval Terzioğlu from SAKIP Sabancı Anatolian High School, and today we're going to present to you our topic, climate crisis, health challenges and solutions. First of all, who are we? I am Şevval Terzioğlu. Our advisory teacher is Ayşe Şule Kılınç, and my teammates are Furkan Topkara, Merve Özanak Yıldız, and Nilda Gülay. Today we're going to talk about our object of our presentation, physical effects of climate change, mental health and climate change, our questionnaire results, and recommendations and solutions.
Hi, I'm Nilda, and now I will talk about our project's goal. Climate change is a significant global issue that impacts our well-being in so many different ways, as we all know. And our study aims to identify the causes of health problems resulting from the climate crisis and explore potential solutions to reduce its harmful effects.
Hello, I'm Furkan, and I'm going to be talking about the physical toll of climate change. Now, as a research methodology, we used asking professional opinions to learn more about the topic. Here, you can see the professional opinion from a medical specialist, Takir Aydan. First up, the first physical toll of climate change is extreme weather events. Floods, storms, and heat waves caused by climate change harm people and ecosystems majorly, leading to air pollution, water pollution, decline in food quality, and more. Secondly, this ties up to food and water insecurity. Climate change can negatively affect agriculture and livestock, leading to food shortages, water scarcity, and can severely impact one's well-being. Another physical toll here is shifting patterns of disease. As climate change happens, habitats and the ranges of disease-carrying insects grow. Mosquitoes, ticks, and many other bugs, insects like this, start living on other parts of the world, causing many varied diseases. Here on this graph, we have prepared something you can look at. Here you can see climate changes threats to health and their outcomes. For example, food and water insecurity cause malnutrition and waterborne infections. Storms and floods cause injuries and fatalities. Air pollution and allergens cause asthma and heart disease. Communicable diseases spread, and malaria and dengue. Social and economic sustainability falls. Violence, poverty, and migration get to a higher point. Heat waves, wildfires, and forest fires create heat, stress, and many more. Now, here you can see the correlation between mental health and climate change. Climate change and mental health are one of the biggest problems in the current world. Yet, many people don't take sufficient actions. Policymakers can benefit from identifying the opportunity of potential common solutions to these two global challenges. Climate change can significantly affect mental health, causing your mental battery to quickly drain. Experiencing the effects of climate change firsthand increases the risk of post traumatic stress disorder, depression, extreme distress, and many more.
Now I will talk about the four vulnerable groups. Our first group is young people. Children and adolescents are especially vulnerable to mental health impacts of climate change, as they may feel negative emotions about the future. And our second group is marginalized communities. Marginalized populations often suffer the most from the health impacts of climate change because they have limited resources and access to healthcare. Our third group is elderly individuals. Older adults are more vulnerable to physical effects of climate change, such as heat waves and extreme weather conditions, which can worsen their health problems. And our fourth and last group is developing countries. Countries with fewer resources and weaker healthcare systems are especially vulnerable to the health impacts of climate change, as they may lack adequate infrastructure.
I am Shevval again. Another research methodology, we made a survey, and you can see it here. Actually, we had another question too. Like in the survey our team conducted to 103 students, we found that students have health problems. However, most students, like you can see, when we asked them how much do they think climate change affects their health, it turned out that most of them do not believe that these issues are related to climate change. And this suggests that students may lack the necessary awareness of climate change. They may not understand the risks that climate change poses to their health because they do not see the connection between their health problems and climate change. Now, after we stated all the problems, it's time for recommendations and solutions. Firstly, implementing measures within health systems, including climate change factors in mental health policies and services, ensures us that the mental health effects of climate change are recognized and addressed within healthcare systems. This provides proper care and support to those affected. Secondly, raising awareness of the mental health impacts of climate change among the public. To solve an issue, we need to identify the problem. And yet, as we saw in the results of our questionnaire, people lack of these about climate change effects. So, conducting targeted research to understand the complex relation between climate change and mental health and developing a strategy that addresses the health impacts of climate change by integrating environmental, social, and economic factors will help the public and policymakers understand the importance of addressing these issues. Thirdly, ecosystem restoration. Restoring and protecting natural ecosystems can help control disease-carrying insects, preserve biodiversity, and strengthen defenses against health threats related to climate change. And lastly, improving knowledge. While making this presentation, we realized that there was not enough information to find a persistent solution for this issue. To put an end to the issues we stated, an improving knowledge is needed. Now, my friend Furkan will conclude our presentation.
Now, after our informative presentation, here's a small little summary so that everything stays in your mind. Climate change causes physical health issues like health-related illnesses and respiratory problems, and these affect mental health by causing stress, anxiety, and depression. To tackle these challenges, it is crucial to include climate concentration in health policies, conduct focused research, restore ecosystems, and enhance communication between experts and policymakers. Creating strategies that consider environmental, Social and economic factors will help reduce these health risks and support public well-being. Now here you can see our references. And thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Now, I would like to invite the audience to ask questions. If there are no questions, I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Hi. Well done. Okay. Can you please show us the first recommendation? First, solution or recommendation just now about taking into account, including climate change factors in mental health policies and services. Okay, can you give me one example of, maybe you can propose one example of a policy that takes into account climate change factors? Yes.
I will answer to this question. There can be actually more green areas for the public. There can be more green areas to firstly stop climate change, reduce climate change effects, and recreation areas can be established by governments. And also there can be health policies for packaged foods or things like that. Maybe actually that's all I can say.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to the presenter for your fascinating presentation.
Test, test, test, test. Hah? Boleh sekali. Test, test. Test, test, test.
Now, I would like to invite the fourth team, Princess UBOLRATANA RAJAKANYA'S College, PHATTHALUNG, to present.
Hello, สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, everyone. My name is รุจิรา อุตสาจันทร์
My name is เรืองเกียรติ สกลประกากิจ
My name is วิมลศิริหมื่นลักษณ์
My name is นภัสธรรมศรี
And we are from Princess Subonrat Rajaganya College, Pathalung. And we are, thank you. And we are going to present our project on the preparation and comparison of mosquito repellent patch from Geraniol and 1-ACNO incorporating Cyclodextrin.
Mosquito are major carriers of various diseases, which are problem in tropical country and suitable climate for propagation, including Thailand. Nowadays, the extract from plant essential oil have been used to repel the mosquito, such as the extract from aromatic herbs, which are not harmful to health. One of the essential oil that have promising effect is geraniol and 1-ACNO.
Geraniol or GO is a monoterpene alcohol and a natural component of essential oil. GO has repellent activity against mosquitoes and insects. 1-ACNO or CAN is a monoterpene cyclic ether found abundantly in nature. CANR has repellent activity against mosquitoes and insects. The disadvantages of GO and CAN are slightly insoluble in water and it has low stability. This phenomenon can be mitigated in cap solution, such as the formation of inclusion complex with cyclic. Cyclodextrin or CD or cyclic oligosaccharide consists of glucose unit. Cyclodextrin have a unique structure with a hydrophobic cavity and a hydrophilic surface, which can form inclusion complexes such as a variety of gas molecules. In this project, we use beta-cyclodextrin to encapsulate GO and CAN. Polylactic acid or PLA is a polymer that is classified as aripactic polyester. PLA is a bioplastic. In addition, it has been used in various industries, such as the packaging in food industry and in medical use. The objective of this project, we use to prepare polylactic acids for preparation and comparison Geraniol and 1-ACNO with cyclodextrin for mosquito repellent patch.
First, preparation of Geraniol and beta-CD inclusion complex. The inclusion complex will be prepared by the mole rate of GO by beta-CD of 1 by 1 by co-precipitation, kneading, and physical mixing was used as a control. This slide shows co-precipitation method. Next slide shows kneading method and physical mixing method for preparation of Geraniol, 1-ACNO, and beta-CD inclusion complex. This slide shows the result preparation of GO with beta-CD and CAN with beta-CD.
Characterizations of the inclusions complex, scanning electron microscope, SEM. Morphological analysis of the inclusions complex were performed by SEM. GO with beta-CD and CAN with beta-CD. Figure 3, SEM image of inclusions complex GO with beta-CD. A. Co-precipitation. B. Kneading. C. Physical mixing. And D. Pure beta-CD. Figure 4, SEM image of inclusions complex CAN with beta-CD. A. Co-precipitation. B. Kneading. C. Physical mixing. And D. Pure beta-CD. Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy (FTIR) to identify the presence of cation functional groups in a molecule. It can be used to confirm the identity of a compound. GO with beta-CD, figure 5, DAR spectra A, GO, B, beta-CD, C, inclusions complex by physical mixing method. D. Inclusions complex by kneading method. E. Inclusions complex by co-precipitation method. And this slide CAN with beta-CD.
Next is release study. The first step, we measure wavelength of maximum absorbance of GO and CAN before release study. The results show wavelength of maximum absorption of GO and CAN at 218 and 235 nanometer. Next, we study release property of GO and CAN from the inclusions complex. The results show the release amount of GO and CAN from the inclusions complex. Then we prepare PLA sheet, start solvent casting, and molding them on the glass surface. This PLA sheet is GO with beta-CD and CAN with beta-CD. In conclusion, the inclusions complex can be prepared by 3 methods. The best method is co-precipitation, and they are performed prior to be molded with PLA sheet before processing into mosquito repellent patch. Thank you for your attention.
The audience are now allowed to ask questions. I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Okay. Hi everyone. Okay. Congratulations on your presentation. You have done a great job. Okay. So I have one question here. Can you explain briefly how does this research of yours can contribute its role in addressing both climate emergency and health concerns? Okay, I repeat. Okay. Can you explain briefly how does this research of yours can contribute its role in addressing both climate emergency and health concerns? Thank you.
About climate emergency, right?
And health concerns, yeah.
Yes. In this project, we use PLA sheet, right? It's bioplastic, and normally in market, mosquito repellent pad use plastic. Normally plastic, and like that, it have a chemical substance. It can make climate change. Maybe it use it too lot, right? And this polylactic acid is bioplastic, and it can it's biodegradable. Yeah, it's help by climate change. It can reduce climate change. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there your research can be applied to other insect? Okay, this research can use this all the solution to be applied to other insect other than mosquitoes.
Your question is can use other insect, right? In this project, we study only mosquito because in Geraniol and Mosquito, they can found in lemongrass or eucalyptus. Yeah, it can reduce or protect myself or and ourselves from mosquito. Then we study only mosquito.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you to the presenter for the wonderful presentation.
Just
Now, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains MUAR to present.
Right. The world provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Today, we'll uncover how climate changes occur through unsustainable agricultural practices and how it contributes to the spread of foodborne illnesses. But before that, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening I bid to the honorable adjudicators and everyone here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off by examining the issues at hand. What is foodborne illnesses? Foodborne illnesses, also known as food poisoning, happens when we consume contaminated food or drink. They're caused by different things like bacteria, viruses, toxins, or parasites. Some of the symptoms include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, and so on. The severity varies from mild to life-threatening depending on the individual's health situation and also on the type of germ. So throughout our research, we've discovered that children below the age of 5-year-old and elderly above the age of 60-year-old are the most at risk of contracting foodborne disease. So moving on, we'll take a look at the citation from Pascal in Encyclopedia of Food Security and Sustainability, where the first global assessment of foodborne disease was developed by World Health Organization. Then WHO have stated that the health burden of FBD was comparable to malaria, HIV/AIDS, and also tuberculosis. So ladies and gentlemen, food poisoning is not a matter to be taken lightly. Right, moving on, we've also gotten this graph from Encyclopedia of Food Security and Sustainability. We can see that Asia has the highest record of contracting foodborne disease, with microbial contamination being the highest cause of why countries in Asia have the highest record of foodborne illnesses. Thus, us from MUAR Science Secondary School conducted this research to assess the underlying correlation between unsustainable agriculture and how it leads to the increase of foodborne illnesses. Secondly, we want to determine how human actions increase or change or give out changes to the climate and that increase the risk of getting foodborne disease. Lastly, and ultimately, our aim is to create a pragmatic framework where we want to have a solution to tackle this problem. And we have gathered three major problems here. The first one being unsustainable agricultural activities being carried out, and then affecting the climate, and then lastly, improper handling of producers and also the process itself.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what is the correlation between unsustainable agriculture and also the increase in the risk of foodborne illnesses? So as we can see in a study by Leo H. Robert, he stated that most farmers nowadays tend to lean on towards a concentration of production instead of caring about the quality of the producers, such as fruits and vegetables and all that. So they usually use non-renewable fossil fuels, which is pretty much like a method of like the most major unsustainable agriculture practices. All right, so moving on, one of the most apparent examples of unsustainable agriculture includes overcultivation and also the excessive usage of technology in agriculture. This leads to the damage in crop quality and also apparent land pollution. Next, the excessive usage of pesticides to kill pests in agriculture, because as I said, we want to increase the consumption, we want to increase the volume of the production. So usage of pesticides will lead to the degradation of quality of air and also cause health adverse effects towards us, whether directly or indirectly. So moving on, these unsustainable agriculture practices leads to climate change. At the basis of it, what we know, climate change is an increase in the temperature, and warmer temperatures and foodborne pathogens are basically bestest of friends in this world, because foodborne pathogens and also waterborne pathogens are spread easier when the temperatures are warmer, and also water scarcity, a result from climate change, can compromise the hygiene and also the sanitary level in agriculture areas. So one of the most apparent examples of foodborne illnesses also includes Salmonella, typhi, Escherichia coli, cyclosporiasis, and Shigella. Basically, all of these germs contribute to the explosive diarrhea that you feel when you get food poisoning. All right, moving on. All these factors lead to the increase in climate change, and climate change causes foodborne illnesses. So that is the correlation. So now, a proper research wouldn't be done without a proper methodology, right? So we decided to resort to qualitative and also quantitative methodology. We collected numerical data through our survey, Google Form survey, containing 2 questions, which is how often do you contract foodborne illnesses, and how often do you consume fresh produce from farmers? So next slide. So as we can see, our findings for the first question is 26.7% out of 101 respondents chose the option of very frequent, indicating that they have had a history of contracting foodborne illnesses in their past life. And next, for the second question, which is the consuming fresh producers, we have like a pretty much a high percentage too, which is 31.7% of our respondents chose the options of frequent, indicating that they usually incorporate vegetables and fruits from farmers in their daily meal intake. So if we compare these 2 donut charts, as you can see here, we can make like a general conclusion or like a hypothesis that mostly these people contract foodborne illnesses because they usually consume fresh producers that are potentially contaminated. So how do we prove and basically garner more professional opinion and to provide substantial proof to our hypothesis for today? We carried out an interview with Dr. Abikama bin Kamis, which is a researcher from University Technology Malaysia that specifies in agricultural field. So the findings from our qualitative method of interviewing him was, he stated that in Malaysia, unsustainable agriculture practices is still concurrent and is being actively carried out. And excessive usage of pesticides and all that basically increases the level of contaminants in land and water, thus contaminating the food that we eat every day and causing foodborne illnesses. So now let's move on to the solutions. So for the solutions, we have decided to create a pragmatic framework that we call as 3P, in a short form of abbreviation so people can remember it very easily: production, preparation, and prevention. So let's start with the first one, which is production. Food safety starts at the source. Food safety ought to start at on the farm itself, for example, through the land management strategy to ensure the quality of land used for agriculture purposes. Poor land management strategy includes using land that have had an active history of microbial contamination and basically lands that are not fertile. And also, I just want to take you guys back in time yesterday when our keynote speaker talked about the high content of carcinogens called PFAS in the pesticides. Sorry, the slide before this. In pesticides, and the excessive usage of these can lead to diseases like cancer. All right, so moving on, comprehensive land management strategy also includes the lessening the usage of pesticide, because if we can't remove it completely, we can try reducing the amount of pesticide that goes into our food. And lastly, land testing to ensure that the land that we use for agriculture purposes is free from antimicrobial resistance and also is fertile enough.
Moving on to the next P, which is the preparation of a guideline towards quality harvesting. As the years go by, the production and processing of food has become increasingly concentrated, automated, and fast-paced in order to gain the most amount of produce in the shortest amount of time, which, to no surprise, brings a major implication on public health. In this case, field management and handling of produce plays an important role in order to decrease the spread of these foodborne pathogens. During the harvesting phase, there should be no damaged food in the harvesting batches. Should there be any, they must be removed immediately in order to avoid cross-contamination with the wet soils. Nevertheless, instilling proper hygiene methods such as cleaning the containers and tools after usage is vital in order to ensure the safety of the food as being put out for the customers. Moving on with the post-harvest steps, which comprises of these aspects. The first step being area mapping, which is by labeling the produce with harvest dates and locations in order to easily detect any spoiled batches. Next, the packaging sheds and storage must be kept clean at all times and must be set at the proper temperatures in order to prevent any foodborne pathogens from spreading. And finally, the usage of special flow pack bags and corrugation cardboards can decrease any potential of contamination within the produce.
Right, so moving on to the final P, which stands for prevention, where we want to implement the practice of 4C method. What is this 4C method, you may ask? Well, the first C stands for clean, where we want to make sure everybody here practices making sure their personal hygiene level is at the optimum state. And the second C stands for categorize, where we need to make sure we categorize raw foods and cooked food. Why? Because we need to avoid cross-contamination. And then the third C stands for cook, and the final C stands for chill. Why do we need to make sure of this? Because between 4 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius, that is called the danger zone, where bacteria will grow and multiply rapidly.
In conclusion, our research today has focused on the importance of sustainable agriculture. And why do we focus on mainly foodborne illnesses? One, it is commonly happen. It is close to us because we eat a lot in a day, and we are on a mission to prepare the world for the elderly and the young. And with that, 3P is a very holistic approach in order to tackle this concurrent issue today. With that, we would like to thank you.
Thank you.
The audience are now allowed to ask questions.
Are there any questions from the audience?
The judges may ask them the questions.
Okay, congratulations for your presentation. Overall, okay, but as a student, because earlier you present everything quite clear. As a student, maybe at your school, how you can apply this agriculture?
All right. So we are from MUAR Science Secondary School. So we live in a boarding school, and the students here are mostly boarding schools, right? So we have a thing called Dewan Makan, which is the eating hall, the dining hall where we eat. So as you can see, my partner, he has presented about the 4C method, which comprises of clean, cook, and category and chill. So the first thing is clean. So that is the most significant thing that every one of us can do, the simplest thing actually. So for us individually, to implement it at schools, we should wash our hands before eating. And also we have to ensure, because sometimes the plates, we have to take the plates ourselves at the eating hall. So we have to ensure each of the process, when we take the plate, we wash our hands, we take the foods, each one of these steps, each one of the little steps play a very important role in preventing foodborne illnesses as a student in our school. Yes.
Did your school also harvest or plant your own plant? Do you have?
Not really, but since our school introduces RBT subject for Form 1, Form 2, and Form 3, we have carried out a program where we plant chilies for the project. For like this is kind of like assessment. Even though I'm not an RBT student, but I still kind of survey those things because it looks really cool. But I do notice that they practice certain, practices which actually correlates to our presentation for today, because they plant or they'll plant away from each other, because if one plant gets contaminated, it won't spread to the other plants. And also they ensure that the land they use is hygienic, and is basically all of their processes are monitored by the teachers.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to the presenters for their amazing presentation. Now, I would like to invite the final team, Sekolah Menengah Sains Hulu Terengganu, to present.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If food waste were a country, it would be the third largest greenhouse gases emitters in the world after the United States and China. And if you think that food waste is not a big deal, let us show you how dreadful it could be. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon I bid to the honorable judges, dedicated moderator, wise timekeeper, and the members of the floor. I, Alia Batrisha, alongside Nohani Idina, standing here as the presenter, together with us, Muhammad Harith, Wan Fahmi Akil, not forgetting our advisor, Teacher Nur Shahira. And here we are today, representing HULU Terengganu Science School, with the aim of preparing a better world for the young and the elderly. Before we go further in depth, let us take a look at the definition of climate change. In general, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. The consequences of climate change include, among others, flood, intense drought, wildfires, and rising sea level. Now, what are the causes of climate change? It is undeniable that natural processes are always influencing Earth climates. However, recent climate changes cannot be explained by natural causes alone. In fact, human activities have been the dominant cause of climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the major climate change drivers that often goes unnoticed is food waste. Food waste refers to any food or inedible parts of food removed from the food supply chain. As you can see here, food waste may occur at the stages of production, processing, at the distribution level, and also at the consumer's level. Now, you might think food waste is not a big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a big deal. You see, we are locked in a dreadful cycle when it comes to food waste, climate change, and health impacts. And the most vulnerable populations are the young and the elderly. To have a clearer understanding, let us shift our attention to how massive of a problem food waste is. According to the United Nations, food loss and waste generate 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. That is 5 times the total emissions from the aviation sector. Despite this alarming fact, 1.05 billion tons of food are wasted globally, and even in Malaysia itself, 8.3 million metric tons of food are wasted annually. And all of this occur while 783 million people are hungry, and a third of humanity faces food insecurity. Isn't it ironic? So, taking all of this into consideration, our research aims to determine the factors contributing to food waste, explore its impact on human health and well-being, and also to provide some viable solutions to curb the problem. And to gather the data, we conducted a quantitative research where questionnaires were distributed to 122 respondents, and literature reviews of scholarly articles were also conducted.
So, here are some sample questionnaires answered by our respondents, and these are the findings. As seen here, 55% of our respondents frequently waste their food, and the major contributing factor are poor taste and quality, followed by expired food and impulsive buying. We also asked our respondents regarding their attitude toward reducing food waste, and most of the respondents agree that reducing food waste is important, but they find it difficult to be implemented. Now, moving on, as we said earlier, we are locked in a dreadful cycle when it comes to food health. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the health impact of climate change caused by food waste. Let us dive deep into it one by one. Due to its quick decay rate, food waste in landfill contribute to more methane emission. Methane is a key ingredient in the formation of ozone. When we breathe ozone, it will cause asthma and chronic lung disease. The global burden of disease estimate ozone was responsible for 11% of death from chronic respiratory disease in 2019, and this will rapidly escalate if we keep on wasting our food. So, as mentioned earlier, now you might be wondering how food waste may lead to cardiovascular mortality. Let me show you how. Methane can enter your body through inhalation and ingestion. It is dangerous as it increases oxidative stress, inflammation, and vascular dysfunction. According to the World Health Organization, the proportion of heat-related death due to cardiovascular disease continued to rise from about 31% in 2010 to an estimated 70 to 90% in 2090s. So, as mentioned earlier, food waste accelerates extreme heat such as heat wave. Unfortunately, pregnant women are particularly vulnerable for extreme heat, and they are at risk of preterm birth. Southern Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest rate of preterm birth due to climate change. Only 1 in 10 extremely preterm babies survive. And in later life, preterm survivor will develop the risk of suffering non-communicable disease. Is it unfair for them to suffer the consequences of our action? Ladies and gentlemen, it goes without saying that food waste reduces the availability of nutritious food, and this worsens food insecurity and malnutrition. There are more than 80% of hungry people live in places that are highly prone to extreme weather. Hence, a changing climate is only making things worse. According to the World Health Organization, nearly half of deaths among children under 5 years old in low and middle income countries are linked to undernutrition. A study also found that adults aged 65 and above suffer worse mental health disorder when experiencing severe food insecurity.
Apparently, food waste and climate change serve as major hindrance to the progress towards achieving Sustainable Development Goals 3.2, 3.4, and 3.9. Now, is it possible to promise a better tomorrow for the young and the elderly if food waste is only making climate change and human health worse? Ladies and gentlemen, it is possible. Aligned with the goal of having global food waste by 2030, transitioning from linear to circular economy model in managing food waste is important. As in here, linear economy model is fragmented as food waste will end up in landfills. In contrast, circular economy model is more preferred as it focuses on preventing food from becoming waste in the first place. Now, let us dive deep into the 3 principles of circular economy. First is eliminate waste and pollution. At the retail and consumer level, one of the best ways to eliminate waste is by applying first in, first out, also known as FIFO method. As simple as it sounds, FIFO helps us making sure that we are rotating our food properly. This prevents excessive waste and control the quality of our food. In return, it also helps to lessen our personal carbon footprint. Second is circulate products and materials. In a simpler term, it refers to capturing and redistributing edible food. For instance, Japan has a national food bank organization called Food Harvest, dedicated to rescuing edible food from the grocery stores or other retailers. Then the food will be redistributed to people in need. But when whole foods can't be rescued, nutrients and byproducts should be used to make new products through anaerobic digestion. In closed tanks, and nutrients and byproducts are turned into carbon negative renewable energy that can be used to generate electricity, power cooling system, or nutrient-rich fertilizers. The third one is regenerate nature. Regenerating nature means that food scraps are turned into nutrient-rich compost combined with practices like agroforestry. Agroforestry is a sustainable agricultural practices that integrates trees and shrubs with crops and livestock on the same farming plot. It minimizes the need for external fertilizers and reduces the environmental impact of organic waste disposal. India is the first nation in the world with a national agroforestry policy that aims to make agricultural landscapes more resilient to the risk of climate change.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our presentation. Once again, we would like to emphasize the fact that reducing food waste is a key to fighting climate change, fostering good health and well-being, and ending global hunger. Therefore, let's do our part in creating a more sustainable world for the young and elderly by halving global food waste by 2030. With 6 years left to reach the targets, we would like to call everyone to action immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, from farm to kitchen, all scraps matter. Let us win this race together. With that, thank you everyone for being with us today and be a part of our sustainable journey. Thank you.
I would like to invite the audience to ask questions.
Hello. All right, thank you so much. But I have a question regarding one of your methods, which is agroforestry, which is kind of closely related to our presentation too. So based on our research, agroforestry is the integration of livestock and plants, right? So sometimes when farmers carry out agroforestry, basically the germs and the pathogens from the cows or like the integrated livestock can affect the plants that they plant and causes like contaminated food. Would you please, clarify or probably give a method to overcome the problem that I've stated? Thank you.
By question you just asked us just now, do you mean that like in our research, we combine the practices of agroforestry with the nutrient-rich compost that is, we can say, from the anaerobic, from the anaerobic digestion processes. So does it relate with yours, like the one that you said, the cows and so like based on our research, we doesn't use any we doesn't, it doesn't say that, the fertilizers that we are applying on our agroforestry practices is not based on the cows fertilizers. It's basically the plants that we are, the fertilizers, the nutrient-rich fertilizers that we are using on the agroforestry practices is based on plants or nutrients and byproducts of that is from the anaerobic digestion.
If there are no more questions, I would like to ask the judges to ask questions.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Okay, congratulations on your presentation. You have done a great job, all of you. Okay, so my question is, as students in school, how do you do your part to promote and raise awareness about this food waste in your school?
Okay, I will actually give two examples of ways that is actually on two different places. So in school, I could say the intake of food. We as a boarding school students, we have the time to eat at the school cafeteria. So the intake of food that we need to, based on our questionnaires that we distributed to the respondents, it has unplanned meals, the one of the questions, and some of the respondents agreed that unplanned meals is one of the reasons contributing to food waste. So I think that is one thing that students need to aware about their intake of meals, so that they doesn't actually waste their food. So the second way is actually from the FIFO methodology, FIFO method that we discover when we do our research. That is actually, they can implement the FIFO method when they are at home, when they are storing their food after the groceries, where they keep the older food in front and the new food that they just bought at the back of the fridge or any storage boxes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you to the presenters for their interesting and fascinating presentation.